Hey everyone, welcome to the Escape Pod. I'm Sal, and also is the other people's.
Josiah.
I'm Lee. Hello.
We have a guest. Oh my god.
Yeah, first guest.
How did I get here?
We smuggled you from Joyzy.
From Joyce.
Where am I?
Shh. She's in the trunk. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's here for this episode to talk about Cloverfield, which, if you don't know, the new teaser for the next movie just came out, and maybe you should watch it.
Children behave. That's what they say when we're together. And watch how you play. They don't understand, and so we're running just as fast as we can. Holding on to one another's hand. Trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me and we tumble to the ground. And you say, I think there doesn't seem to be anyone around now.
No! 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 Don't open that door! They're going to get all of us killed!
Something's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know why I'm fumbling. I'm so sorry.
So that came out of nowhere.
Literally.
Literally, we had no idea. It just, I look on Tumblr and just Cloverfield 2.
A movie trailer like this could come out of the blue and not only just come out of fucking nowhere, but... Am I allowed to curse? I'm sorry.
Oh, of course. Yeah, curse all you
Go
want.
for it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, they can just come out of nowhere, and not only come out of nowhere, but come out of nowhere 2 months before it's released.
Yeah.
And no one
Yeah,
knew
what?
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up, and apparently it was under some title called Variant or something with a V.
It was under The Cellar originally, and then it became Valencia.
Yeah.
And then since then it's become 10 Cloverfield Lane, which
Yeah.
really don't know what to think or say. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know in what capacity this is going to be a sequel. I think, at least as far as, I won't speak for you guys, but as far as I'm concerned, most people kind of view it as a spin-off in the same universe, at least.
That's the way it seems with how JJ described it, as a spiritual sequel, or blood relative, I think was the word he used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting a direct, concrete tie-in, but I don't really know what I'm expecting. Because knowing J.J. Abrams and the things he'll say just to throw people off the scent, I have no idea. I really don't.
Yeah, we'll get into it. I have certain theories on how it may tie into the first movie, if it's a prequel or a sequel or like a sidequel. Because remember, back with with the first one, they said, hey, remember that guy who was filming on a bridge? There's just a bunch of stuff going on that we don't see from the first person perspective.
The first thing that struck me is weird because I saw the teaser that was properly recorded and off filter that was just called Cloverfield 2. And so when I saw that and I saw that it wasn't found footage for a second, I was like, wait, what? And then I just immediately bought into it.
Yeah, we'll start with Sal. Give everyone your background with Cloverfield, as I guess a duology now, or with the first movie.
See, you start with me because I have the least experience. I didn't see it in theaters or anything, and I had no idea what it was. I saw it in my sister's room when it was on DVD, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And she's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah. What is this? Isn't it some weird Independence Day movie because it had Statue of Liberty all destroyed?" And I was like, "What the fuck is this Day After Tomorrow bullshit?" And then I watched it, and I was taken away by magic, and it was fucking incredible. So I didn't even know about the ARG until the other day when the teaser came out. Everyone was talking about it, and I was like, "Wait, I'm sorry."
Wow. Okay.
Oh, really?
Actually, no, wait, just you mentioned it once when we were walking around town, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, very rarely have I ever heard about it, so still fucking enthralled by it.
Yeah.
Wait, I have almost no history, but I do love Cloverfield like a motherfucker.
So basically, my background with Cloverfield was, I believe it was my 8th grade year in middle school. And I don't know how, but I really got wrapped up in this ARG element with Slusho and Tagruato and all this kind of, all these like sites and images and all this stuff going on. I don't even know how it happened. Similar thing happened with The Dark Knight, I think. I got wrapped up in that viral marketing campaign. With Cloverfield, I started looking up all the clues because I remember I was just wondering, you know, what's going on? What is this movie going to be? I have an idea. It's a monster, and it's found footage, and you know, the only thing I'd seen before that was Blair Witch. I went and saw the movie, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't get all the ARG because it was pretty massive. I wasn't getting every detail. I saw it, and I remember saying, okay, this has got to have a sequel. And I was always thinking that at some point we're going to get, even if it's really different, we're going to get a sequel. And nobody believed me. And so 8 years later, I feel so vindicated. So what about you, Lee?
Oh man. Okay. My history with Cloverfield is a long and dark one.
Holy shit.
Because I kind of first encountered it where a lot of people did, which was the initial trailer that premiered before Transformers.
Yep.
Back in 2007?
July 4th, 2007?
And it premiered before Transformers, this teaser from Bad Robot, who, mind you, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know of J.J. Abrams at the time. And this teaser happens, and it's just, I'm sure we've all seen it by now, the teaser of just Rob's party, and shit goes down, and, the statue goes flying through the streets, and then it just says, in theaters 1/18/08, no title or anything, and then that's it. That was the first thing that made everyone go, what the hell is this? There's no title, there's nothing. And it's just this fascinating trailer that just came out of nowhere. No one knew anything about it. No one knew what it was, or it just kind of captivated a ton of people and made people really, really intrigued by what it was and what it could be. Mm-hmm. And so then spread to, all the internet forums. And I personally found most of it through the IMDb's the forum for the movie, which at the time was just under untitled 1/18/08 release or something like that.
Jeez.
And I just kind of lurked on those message boards and watched a ton of people just theorizing and spitting out all these crazy ideas. And then eventually I started joining in the conversation. It was crazy. There were people who were claiming that it was a true story and the government wiped our memories.
All right, Beatrice, there was no alien. Flash of light you saw in the sky was not a UFO. Swamp gas from a weather balloon was trapped in a thermal pocket and refracted the light from Venus.
Well, wait a minute.
It was a ride, man. There was of course the infamous, I saw it, it's a lion, it's huge.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I love that.
I heard about that this morning by my roommate.
Yeah, everyone heard it's a lion, and they were like, "Oh, it's a giant lion. It's Voltron." I heard theories that it was Cthulhu. I heard a ton of different ones.
I remember one that was the smoke monster from Lost.
I had heard that too, because everyone's like, "Oh, there's smoke in the darkness. It's the smoke monster from Lost. It's a Lost movie." No, it was none of the above. But yeah, so that was, and then I just kind of from there I got really wrapped up in the ARG itself, and it just spiraled out of control, and I lost about 7 months of my life.
When an ARG is good, you can just fucking get wrecked by it. It's amazing.
I could get really, really, really in depth on that ARG. Like, if we ended up talking about that, I could go on and explain the entire thing to you, because it was something else, man.
I tell you what, maybe we'll once we finish talking about the new teaser, we can go circle back around to that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Be a Swagcast 2-partner. We can do this.
Yeah. So, I guess since we covered our initial background, give like a really brief kind of review of the movie and kind of what it did for you.
Cloverfield?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. I don't remember much. I remember it was just like this big epic journey through the city of just trying to like not get murdered by this monster that you never really saw, and that was really intriguing to me because I loved how it was very much like Jaws, how you never saw the actual monster itself. You just sort of were trying to stay out of the crossfire of the monster, and that was really amazing to me. How just by going through the city and then the things that are coming off the monster and how it affects the world and how this mini society develops, where the government's there, and if you have the thing on your back, you're fucked, and it's just a lot of world building happened.
Yeah.
It's weird to say about like a found footage monster movie, but a lot of world building happened, and it kind of engrossed me. It's probably one of the reasons why I went on to make found footage stuff in general.
Same.
Was Cloverfield.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was an influence on all of us, because if people don't know, because surprisingly enough, people do watch the show who've never seen any of my shit or your shit, Josiah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all do like found footage horror, and of course after seeing Cloverfield, so like
yeah,
it was a huge inspiration, and it's very funny to me that it's going cinematic.
Yeah,
because
you did that. I think that's, well, I won't get into it too early, but I think we're all fine with the cinematic approach. I think you couldn't make a sequel that's still found footage and have it be not kind of a rehash.
I agree.
I'm glad they didn't feel obligated to do another found footage film.
Exactly.
I'll get to what I think they could have done found footage wise that would have been different enough. But you go first, Josiah. I want to hear what you think.
Yeah. So, brief review. I remember seeing Cloverfield, and I've watched it several times, but obviously I haven't watched it as much the past few years because so much more has been happening and the various things that I keep up with. But I always remember I liked the movie, and I didn't really understand the criticisms of it because people were like, nothing is explained, and I'm like, well, you were following a viral marketing campaign. You didn't expect all of that to be in the film. It's like 80 minutes long. It's supposed to be a throwback film that does what you said, Sal. It world builds, but it just leaves you wanting more, which is why I think everyone who is a fan of it is just like so amazed. They were kind of in awe that we're actually getting an update when we all thought it was dead. And I think what Bad Robot did was they evaluated where found footage had gone to after them. Because, I mean, Blair Witch did kind of like jumpstart it, but Cloverfield was probably that's when it all the craze happened. That's when, every studio had to do a found footage film. And I think Bad Robot wisely said, okay, look, found footage isn't looked on too well right now, but people fondly remember Cloverfield, so let's try something new. So I agree with you, Lee. I had some cool theories on how they could do found footage again, or maybe partially found footage. And who knows, maybe they're going to make like a reference in this movie where video is a part of it, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, maybe. Basically, I mean, I loved it because I had been so immersed in that viral marketing for months leading up to it, and it pretty much met all my expectations. It was really the monster was not what I expected, but I don't think it was what anyone expected. There was that Final Fantasy-esque giant whale art that was going around that everyone thought was real. It's a whole thing. It was really, it met a lot of, pretty much most of my expectations, and I was really very satisfied with it. And I think that having been so like deep in the viral marketing leading up to it enhanced my experience. But I see a lot of, like I said, a lot of people criticize like, oh, well, nothing's explained. But like, first off, it's a film shot from one perspective. Did you expect a random scientist to show up and explain everything? Like it's the sort of thing where it shouldn't have to be explained because it's vague enough that it leaves you wondering and filling in the blanks on your own. But at the same time, it answers enough questions on its own. And if you want to read the viral marketing after the fact or before that, it would just enhance your story. It wouldn't. The viral marketing doesn't make or break the story. It just adds to it. You can fill in enough of the blanks on your own without the viral marketing to know like what's going on. And I think a lot of the criticisms of the movie, I've seen a lot of criticisms of the shaky cam all over the years, like people complaining that it made them sick. I'm like, the shaky cam in that movie is no worse than any other found footage movie there is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no different really at all. And I've seen so many people like bitch and complain about that. And it's really over dramatic in a way, because here's the thing. If you get motion sickness, fine, but you probably shouldn't be seeing a found footage movie at all if you get motion sickness.
Yeah.
I know someone who can't handle found footage, so they just read the script and they get the same experience. And
That's actually kind of cool.
Now that everybody kind of knows where we're all coming from, I think we're all fans. So, Sal, you're probably like pretty much just familiar with the movie, but
I'm more of the common audience who they watched it and they were like, "That was cool."
Last night this thing just drops. Lee was crying, legit.
I openly wept. It was a big deal.
So yeah, last night it was in front of another Michael Bay movie, and yeah.
Sorry, the way you said that, like the way you said in front of another Michael Bay movie.
I feel like maybe they do that so that it's seen by enough people, but they make everyone think about their trailer, and they just like kind of like don't even see the movie that follows it.
Well, 13 hours was actually pretty good from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty good actually. Yeah.
That aside, I think it's kind of funny that it both trailers premiered in front of Michael Bay's work.
Yeah, by design probably, but.
Oh my god, you're right. It's funny.
Yeah. So this trailer just drops, and we're all kind of floored by it. As of right now, it's called 10 Cloverfield Lane, and we can go into what we think that means in relation to the first one. Is this what's been brought up is that maybe Cloverfield is just like a series of anthology films? I'd like a bit more connection, but even so, that'd be a really cool thing for Bad Robot to do down the years, just anthology films in the same universe, at least.
With the word Cloverfield in the title, but completely different, which would be interesting. I do think that part of me will be a little disappointed if there's no like relation between this one and the original. I'm sure it'll still be a good film, but I think I think part of me will be a little upset if there's no monster in this. That's just me.
Well, here's the thing, is that I believe JJ said this was an idea they had while making Cloverfield, so at its base level, it's going to have some connection.
That's true. Yeah. I think he said that production started on this, and very early on in production, they decided to change it to a Cloverfield film.
Yeah.
That could be great or really not great, depending on the approach.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious. I don't know. There's a lot of things up in the air right now, because it's as with every Bad Robot movie that JJ doesn't want you knowing about. There's no real information at all that we can use.
And we only got 2 months, so.
So can I just jump into this?
Yeah.
I just pulled up I went to the Cloverfield wiki and pulled the movie mainly because I forgot why it was called Cloverfield.
Well, there's a lot of different explanations, actually.
From what the wiki's saying is that the title of the film spawns from the government codename or case designation for the events depicted in the movie. So, yes. If that's the case, in the trailer we see John Goodman with like some chemicals.
Maybe, yeah, because there was someone who thought that maybe he has like one of the parasite bodies in there.
Yeah, maybe he's like a scientist, and like he lives on like a military base.
Yeah.
And that's just like it's like a tongue-in-cheek name for the house that they're in. Because I don't think the actual house they're in is named 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think it's just a tongue-in-cheek like maybe they call it that in the movie as a joke. Because I'm assuming that John Goodman's like some sort of scientist maybe.
Yeah.
And they might live on a base, and their joke name for it is 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it's like a haha, we say Cloverfield kind of moment.
Yeah. Because J.J. Abrams, I think it's worth noting, he got it from, like, in LA, there's, like, this place he drives by that's called Cloverfield. And I think someone also pointed out in California, there's a place called Valencia, so...
Yeah, there's a Cloverfield Boulevard near the studio in California where they filmed it, I think. I don't think anyone really knows the true reason for the title. And I think ultimately the title is inconsequential, where like, it doesn't really matter to the actual film.
The reason it's there is just to let you know that this is kind of connected.
Related.
Yeah. I think someone mentioned that JJ saying blood relative kind of reminded them of what Ridley Scott said about Prometheus connected to Alien.
Yeah, that's it. I can see it being something similar to that, where it's like related in like very distant, like there's strings relating it, but there's no real direct connection.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we'll see the characters from part one in this.
Josiah, I remember. I know you don't quite enjoy Prometheus, but
No, I do. I have a few problems with it, but overall, it's pretty solid.
But like, one thing I like about Prometheus, if those who don't know, is like it's kind of a prequel to Alien, but not really, but kind of. And it's cool watching the movie and being like, oh, that's the scene from the movie, but it's not like a big part of the movie. It's like a different story.
Yes.
But if you pay attention, it's like, oh, I see how that relates, and I hope that 10 Cloverfield Lane does a similar thing where you're like, oh, okay. Got it.
I was scanning the current Reddit theories about this, and I remember someone saying John Goodman. There was two variations. There was John Goodman knows that the creature's coming, or John Goodman just kidnaps a woman, and then when she gets out, it happens to be right as the monster attacks.
I'm actually really quick. What subreddit is that on? Because I'm curious.
I think it's just the 10 Cloverfield Lane subreddit.
Oh, it has its own subreddit? Because I was going on the Cloverfield one, and there's nothing really there.
No, it's all been on that one.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out then.
I know some other theories were that it's, I think the most common one, the one I immediately had watching is John Goodman's a scientist, or he's like a guy who knows what's going on, and he, because the summary they released says she awakens after a car accident in this place. So maybe it's happening pretty concurrently to the first movie, or maybe it's a post-apocalyptic thing where this is years after.
There's a few ways you can go about it. It's like either this guy's a bit crazy and takes this woman captive, and then it does happen. They hide out together while it's happening, or it's like far after it's already happened, and they're kind of like, because in the trailer we see them kind of like wanting to go outside again and being like, what's up? So maybe they think that it's been too long for anything to still be going on outside, and that's why they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
And maybe John Goodman, being a scientist, knows something's wrong outside.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And someone...
Because the trailer, by the way, I just want to suck the trailer's dick real quick, is like so well done.
Yeah.
And like how it's constructed and how it opens up and it's all feel good, and then slowly things just descend into the chaos.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's the kind of trailer that I wish I made. Like I see this trailer and I'm like, fuck, I didn't do that.
Well, the funny thing was, I think like less than 10 hours before the trailer came up. Yeah, just real quick. Sal and I were talking, Lee, and he was like, I want to do a short film. I'm like, what about like a thriller just set in one house, and then one of the inhabitants is just a little bit off their rocker and they keep a person there. And then the trailer drops and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, we were just talking about wanting to make a short film, and I was like, yeah, it could be like in one location. And so I was like, yeah, maybe someone gets taken captive in like a house in a basement. And I'm like, maybe there's Lovecraftian stuff, and then this trailer happens.
There's a really interesting theory over that, like potentially John Goodman's character was a member of Tagruato before everything went down.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. That would be enough of a tie-in right there for me. That like
same.
Yeah. Real quick, explain what that is for people, because I kind of know what that is, but
right.
For a layman.
So Tagruato it's a Japanese. I believe they were like an oil conglomerate, weren't they?
Yeah, they were like an oil conglomerate that simultaneously had like food drink.
Slusho.jp was a subsidiary of theirs.
Yeah, so the deal was that in the Slusho they put this nectar, this deep sea nectar that they actually drilled for,
because it turned out to be really, like highly addictive, and it was kind of making them a lot of money, and they ended up causing a lot of there was a lot of business corruption going on in their whole industry, and so they started drilling like deep into the ocean floor to find this like whole like the seabed nectar, I believe it was called. Right? Yeah. So then that led to like some government conspiracy bullshit going on.
When a satellite falls down, you see it at the end of the first movie. In the past footage, it falls down and they drill to go see it, and then that's when they wake it up.
Oh. Okay.
And the parasites, their saliva has trace amounts of sea nectar,
which means that potentially sea nectar in, I don't know, maybe raw form or whatever, causes you to explode.
Yeah. Oh, and also Rob, the guy who was leading the party in the first one, he was basically transferring to Japan to work at their offices.
I think he was like a vice president or something.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he was off to work at Tagruato Industries, and then bad things happened.
Yes.
Yeah. So real quick, speaking about sea nectar and people going crazy. Can we talk about John Goodman's hands and his freak out? Because this could mean a few things. It's how he's like kind of like he's sitting at the table and he's kind of rocking.
Yeah.
He's flipping his hands, and then he pounds on the fucking table, and he kind of seems like he's really pissed off at something or like trying to calm down.
Yeah.
So maybe something happens to him in the movie. Like, or maybe he gets something, he drinks something, he's injected, I don't know.
Well, the tagline is, monsters don't have, they have more than one form.
Oh, is that the tagline? That's good. Monsters come in many forms, okay.
John Goodman is the monster, spoilers.
Yeah, he turns into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
With his fucking sweet booty shaking.
Oh my god.
Maybe Cloverfield was just the friends we made along the way.
Yep.
Oh, fucking shit. Wait, damn it.
If they just believe. So something I caught really early on is that there's a VHS tape that David Gallagher Jr. Holds up, and
John Gallagher Jr.
Jesus. So he holds up a VHS, and it says,
Is it Cannibal something?
Yes, the title of it is Cannibal Airlines, and I did a search on it, and it doesn't exist. That movie does not exist anywhere. It did lead me to a bunch of shirts created by I forget the guy's name, Rob something. He did what has he done? He wrote the movie Monster House. He does a lot of stuff like that. But so there's no real connection. But I ordered the shirt because the design was there. There's a few other designs, and I'm hoping I don't know why they would put that in the trailer or make the VHS cover for a movie if that's not going to be tied in somehow.
I think what they put in the trailer is just to show that they're down there and that they watch old shitty VHS tapes.
Yeah, but it could have been anything. Why is it that specific one? Is it just to make us crazy?
No, I don't think it was important, actually.
I don't think it is either, but I ordered the shirt anyway.
You ordered the shirt?
Yeah.
A slusho type.
Yeah, maybe it's a slusho type thing.
It'll have some sort of tie into the backstory, but it won't ultimately be important to the movie itself.
Exactly, yeah.
It's called Cannibal Airlines, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, I'm looking for anything. There was apparently this thing called thesellermovie.com, but that's unrelated, apparently, rightly?
Yeah, that was confirmed unrelated.
Okay.
Also, just a quick little heads up for like anyone who wants to be nostalgic. Don't go on the original 11808.com. It's now a virus.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Nice save, thank you.
Yeah, it's an actual like virus now, so don't go on that.
Oh, fuck.
Alright, that sucks. Actually, looking at the cover of the movie, Cannibal Airlines, and looking at the shirt, they're a bit different.
Well, apparently, from what I heard, the Cannibal Airlines t-shirt was up there, and then it got redesigned and then put back up. But no one can find, apparently, but no one can find what the changes were.
It's so weird.
Another something somebody else pointed out is there's a lot of a bunch of Eiffel Towers in the trailer.
I actually just saw that. I was just going through the trailer, and as you said that, I went to an image of the Eiffel Tower in the background.
Yes, there's two Eiffel Tower paintings, and the girl's Michelle.
So I was right.
She's wearing an Eiffel Tower t-shirt. And then someone commented, a fake Cloverfield 2 poster a few years ago showed the destroyed Eiffel Tower, which is probably coincidence, but what the fuck?
To all the people speculating with the Eiffel Tower posters. It might be just like a little like nudge at them.
Yeah, I think so. So apparently the director, Dan Trachtenberg, he did an alternate reality game for Hellboy 2 that I knew nothing about.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, so I might have to look that up. Oh, another, just because random... It's the small bullshit that ties the Cloverfield things together. Someone noticed that I think the John Goodman is a monster thing might work because they said the puzzle they're trying to solve in the trailer is named Catfish, and Catfish, they disguise themselves as something they're not.
But then that begs the question:
Yeah.
Is he disguising himself as a good guy, or do they suspect him to be a bad guy and he's actually a good guy?
I think that's what it probably is. I think John Goodman's not a crazy person. I think he has rational reasons, because she looks out the window and she's like, oh, what the fuck? So I think he's right. Whatever's out there, he says something's coming. Something's gonna kill them.
Yeah, he's like, don't go out there, you're gonna get us all killed. I'm watching the trailer right now on like the slowest possible speed. I'm just trying to catch everything. Yeah, it is called Catfish. Fuck, alright.
So,
I wonder how long they've been down there. Like, because...
Well, he still has the sling on.
Yeah, they have like... she has a sling, she has like a leg thing going on. She's eating cereal, so they have milk.
Yeah, as someone pointed out, there's no digital technology besides her iPhone. There's VHS. There's the music's on like what is it?
A jukebox.
A jukebox.
Yeah, it's on a jukebox. So like they mentioned that maybe there was some kind of EMP or nuclear strike or some shit, or
because they couldn't have been down here for too long because they still have like mayonnaise and yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the mystery. Like
yeah, it's like how have they been down here?
It seems like it's a bomb shelter.
Yes,
I think John Goodman's character is married
because he has a ring.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out a little bullshit as I'm going through it.
Maybe she was killed in the whole. Maybe she was bitten and exploded.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking about catfish, and like. Catfish are sometimes like, is also a term for like sexual predators. When John Goodman slams his hand down, it's as the other two characters are like touching hands. Like, I think they're passing something and they touch hands.
Really?
And that's when he slams his hand down?
Huh.
It could not be imported. I'm literally
well, like that's the thing is that the whole I saw it, it's a lion, it's huge. Like there's things in Cloverfield that were analyzed that did not tie in at all. But again,
that were bullshit.
But I think you said, Lee, that it's ironic that after a year of build up for the first one, the whole viral marketing, it's 2 months till this one comes out. So maybe there's just no viral marketing at all.
That's what I was thinking, that maybe everyone's going to be looking for viral marketing and there's actually nothing because it's sort of the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite in every single way of the first one so that we've seen. The first one was found footage, this one's not. There's the fact that the first one was found footage, this one's not. The first one was based around someone leaving and they're throwing them a bug party. This one is based around keeping someone locked in a location. The first one was expansive and covered all of New York. This one's secluded to like a bunker.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention the first one had a ton of build-up, and this one we're getting a trailer with no notice 2 months before it comes out.
They're taking a different approach where since everyone expects to find all the answers outside of it, they're going to be blindsided by what's in the actual movie.
Exactly. And I think that's the whole point of this is to do things the exact opposite way that they did the first one.
So outside you can't I'm trying really hard to see if I can see anything outside, but you can't really see any. It looks like just like a field. Or just like you could see outside a little bit, but
there's like a light, but that could be anything.
Well, if the poster is anything to go by, then it seems like it's just like an open field in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a field. But
where is this
in the distance we can't see?
Oh, theory. Okay, so everybody assumes that she looks outside and sees the big reveal. I think Lee's right. She's going to look outside, they're in the middle of nowhere, and that just leads to how's she going to get away from there? And that leads to an even bigger puzzle piece.
It seems like shit goes down because it looks like, I don't know if she is locked up, but because there was a shot of the chain, and then there's the shot of her in the bed with her leg brace.
It definitely seems like she's handcuffed.
Yeah. And since JJ's all about obfuscation, I doubt that John Goodman being evil is the twist, because they show him doing weird things in the trailer. I feel like that's not even going to be anything in the grand scheme. Because when you think about it, the Statue of Liberty head didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of Cloverfield, pretty much.
I'm going to bring up the booty bumping again. but not as a joke, because if you watch it, she's sort of staring off to the side oh, wow, I'm fucked.
From the start, I feel like she's not going to trust him. If the synopsis is true and she just wakes up there, I think the whole thing is going to be her being not really sure she can trust him and slowly becoming more and more freaked out by John Goodman and his, acting crazy.
Yeah. And so I think what you said was right, where it turns out he'll be either right or he is doing it for a very good reason, and that will evolve it. JJ said that Clover, or whatever you want to call it, was dead at the end of the first movie. He could be just lying. He could have been hedging his bets on if there would be a sequel. But again,
could have been, or you have to keep in mind that he went on record before the film came out saying that it was just a baby.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the mother.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's canon, but the manga basically shows that there's dozens of them.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a manga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Are
probably
you fucking with me?
It's probably not canon though.
It's pretty weird, and I don't know if it's canon or not. It's very weird.
Yeah, there's like this cult that knew about the monsters, and they basically I don't remember what they do, but they basically want this boy to be like a vessel to control them, like it's really weird, like a Dark Messiah craziness.
The kid has like a mental link with the monster. It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
He like controls the parasites that makes them kill the bullies. It's very strange.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool theories I've seen about the trailer and about the world of this film that I really like, and I love the one that I talked to you about it before, Josiah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that supposedly Hammer Down didn't work in the end of the first, so that theoretically the military moved on to like trying chemical weapons, and they ended up screwing the world over by using them and end up like kind of making it uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Or at least certain areas uninhabitable.
And there's every possibility that, you know, there's still the parrot. Because I think I remember reading somewhere, I didn't look at the source, but they said like there was like 5,000 parasites that came off that thing.
It says somewhere on like the Steelbook edition had a special feature where it was like it had like the military's like information come up with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. It was all in like military speak. Like they addressed the monster as like large scale aggressor and whatever. It was covered in a roughly 2,000. They said
2,000. Okay, I figure you could have some of those running around in this movie if Hammer Down didn't work. If they used chemical weapons and that did kill Clover, then there could still be those things running around. Or
especially since it seemed like these things were like underground too. It's entirely possible that they like survived. But I don't know. I would love to even just see a couple of the parasites in the movie. That'd be cool. I'd love it.
That would be enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, he could have one. It could be what's in the weird chemical thing.
That's what I think. That's my theory.
Yeah, and I've seen like speculation that the whole blood disease that's in their saliva went like global.
It could pass to people. Yeah.
Because he looks like he's ready to go. Like stick his hand in there. Like he's putting on gloves, and maybe that's when it gets in his hand. And that's why he's all freaking out later. And he's like.
You just see John Goodman explode.
Oh my fucking god! If anything, this film is gonna be well fucking acted because.
Oh yeah.
John Goodman's amazing.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead's really good too.
So I trust in all three of their acting abilities. Like,
yeah,
this is gonna be one of those very close, very tight knit, but really well acted movies.
I think so too. Like I think it's gonna be what we expect and what we don't expect, and I expect like a really tense thriller, kind of like The Thing, where you don't know.
Yeah.
What's going to happen between them?
That's very accurate.
Very Tarantino.
The Hateful Eight was basically The Thing, but without the monster.
Yeah.
I think what's making this movie really fun to think about and talk about is just anything could happen.
Yeah, it's because that trailer leaves you with such like, wait, the fuck? Real quick, can I talk about some things?
Yeah.
About the crew. The director we know from his Portal short.
Yep.
Which again is a girl stuck in a compound trying to get out. So good job on that. But I was like, okay, so who wrote this movie? I was very like, okay, who's the writer? So the one guy, Josh Campbell, only wrote one other thing in 2014, which was some like film called 4 Minute Mile, which is like some slice of life film starring some kind of memorable people, but not really. The other guy, Matthew Stoecken or whatever, I can't say his last name. He wrote a short film back in 2002. So this is his first like feature.
Wait! I thought that one of the writers did Whiplash.
Hey, I'm saving the best for last.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you bitch.
I thought there was only 2 writers.
Oh, there's 3, and then the last guy did Whiplash and Grand Piano. So they have one writer who's experienced who writes good shit. Like I loved Whiplash. Have you guys seen Grand Piano?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
A quick rundown, you'll understand why I'm going to give it to you. Is that it's all about a guy literally playing the piano, and it's all set in the theater.
Oh.
And it's all like the drama happening around it. Yeah, so it's people who know how to write single room, dramatic, telling character pieces.
Okay. That begs the question, though. Do you think this entire movie is going to take place in the bunker?
Most of it.
I hope so, personally.
I think most of it will, but there's going to be... I think the climax is definitely outside the bunker.
Can't imagine they would shoot an entire movie in a bunker for IMAX.
That's a thing. And then I asked you about the budget, Lee, and originally it said $5 million. You said it was $100 million, I think.
I can't believe it's 100 either, though, because IMDb can be updated by anybody, so I don't know what the actual budget is.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's more than $5 million, but I definitely think it's not $100 million. There's no way.
Right.
Yeah, it says $5 million. That's to pay the 3 big actors.
Yeah.
Well, again, what if the first 30 minutes are them in the bunker, and then just none of it takes place in the bunker? What if that's just like the opening act?
Dude, I wouldn't mind, honestly. Again, I'm cool with anything that happens as long as it fucking blows my mind.
I'm ready for anything that this movie has to throw at me at this point, because I've been waiting for it for 8 years. So
yeah.
Listen. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I'm all lubed up. You just whatever you want.
Like, I think, Lee, you're on record. You're on record, Lee, saying you would suck J.J. Abrams' dick.
Yeah, after having that trailer come out, absolutely.
Goddamn, JJ, you wasted no time. It was like highest budgeting movie ever, or highest grossing movie ever. Fuck it.
But I think, apparently having Force Awakens under Bad Robot gave this film additional protection as far as leaks go.
To be fair, though, if this film was just if it is all in the bunker, it's easier to hide that than a big budget movie.
Yes.
Because you can just, it's just a bunker. You just go out. You film it underground. No one can see it. No one can get leaked photos.
Apparently, they shot it in New Orleans.
I mean, whatever works.
It was that was probably the only publicized thing about the movie, other than, hey, Bad Robot's doing a thriller with John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and it's called Valencia. That's what they said it was, and it's in New Orleans. That's basically all they knew. I would really like it if maybe if it's something close to an anthology, but yeah, I mean, cinematic universes are what's big now. So if they wanted to do just every couple of years do like a Cloverfield movie, like set in that universe, but can do its own story, whatever it wants to do, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. Like I said, I'd just be part of me would be a little upset that there's no more monster, but
I
that's me.
I do think they should bring the monster back, because the original idea was that it was the American Godzilla, and Godzilla came back.
That's true. That is true. I'd love to see them fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was the whole maybe they're going to cross over Pacific Rim with Godzilla, so why not just throw in Cloverfield?
That would never happen. Pacific Rim's dead now.
Yeah. Lee, did you want to kind of, because Sal was curious, I'm fine with you doing like a rundown of the ARG, I defer to you on that.
All right, so yeah, I'll go into this a little bit, kind of like what Josiah and I were saying earlier. There's Taguato, who's kind of this Japanese mining company, and they're like an oil conglomerate and all that, and they're kind of corrupt, and they're like responsible for a lot of toxic waste dumping and stuff. And they eventually in the 90s they come up with this drink Slusho, and that's what we were discussing before, with the fact that they use this stuff called seabed's nectar in the drink, and it's really addictive. And they're basically getting it from drilling up, they set up drilling stations all over the world to drill up this seabed nectar and put it in their drink so people will buy it. There's somebody, in 2007, one of their employees discovers something, and then he's found dead a couple days later. There's people who kind of find this kind of weird, and start investigating. And then they open up the Chuai drilling station near New York, off the shore of the U.S., off the east coast of the United States. And they also around that time too, they also send they send this satellite into space, and basically they send it up there to to circle the world and take really detailed pictures of deep sea photograph, deep sea crevices and stuff, and just take pictures of where they can where these locations are. So you can assume probably that they were using this information to find beds of seabed nectar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In order to hide the fact that they sent this thing up there to for their own purposes, they crash an American they crash a government satellite, and it lands somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, and they use that as an excuse to start searching the deep sea areas for the satellite, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And so around the same time, there's this environmental group called Tido Wave, TIDO Wave.
Nice.
And they're kind of anti
They're kind of like Greenpeace.
Yeah, they're very, very against Taguato, and they have a kind of a dude named Teddy Hansen, who's working for them, and he starts investigating like Taguato. I think he goes undercover, and he finds out like what the deal is with all the seabed nectar and stuff. And he is like, mind you, he's also his girlfriend is in the movie. His girlfriend Jamie is in the film. She's at Rob's party. She's one of their friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's little things that tie in, but yeah. So then Teddy gets captured, I believe. He's being held on the if I remember correctly, he's being held on the Chuai station, and then again there's so many different things, but at the same time as this, there's this guy who I don't remember if he was Teddy or if he was someone else.
Oh, the whistleblower.
The whistleblower, yeah. Because there's a whistleblower working in Taguato that he's basically posting all this information online, like exposing things about them. And like he's posting picture of, like he's telling them that there's no oil on the Chuai drilling station and they're keeping a really dark secret there. And then he includes it with a picture, like a sonar photograph of something down under the water that's very big.
Yeah, that was horrifying when I first saw that.
Like he's revealing a bunch of information, and then a few days before like the actual, I'm giving you the very summarized version of all this, mind you, but a few days before the actual like events in the movie, the Chuai station like sinks under incredibly mysterious circumstances, and there's news footage of said like rig collapse. Like you can look it up on YouTube and find it, and it's really, really cool. It's whole part of the ARG where there's like, you see them like doing a whole news report on the sinking station. There's footage of this station sinking, and you can see this like dark shape in the water under the station at some point swimming away. And then there's like footage of the rig sinks, and then debris from the rig gets like spit out of the water and just starts like falling everywhere and crushes like a boat of people trying to get away.
Yeah.
But that's the gist of it, where it's just like all backstory to like the monster, and like the fact that Taguato woke up the monster while they were searching for the satellite, and that they were drilling for like the oil, which they discovered was on the parasites and in the parasites.
Yeah.
That's how so that's the basis of it. There's a lot more detail to it, but I'm not going to go into it because it can literally go on for hours.
Yeah, it's pretty in depth. Like Cloverfield fucked up 2 whales. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot the picture of the whales.
They're just all fucked up, ripped to pieces.
Yeah,
I wish more films had ARGs like this, because I miss when films would do this a lot.
Were there films I don't think there was ever one this expansive at all, ever. I can't recall any time that there was ever something this big a deal.
Dark Knight's one had a lot of going and finding packages, and it kind of explained a bit about Harvey Dent's background and his journey as a candidate, and the new setup of Gotham's police department and stuff like that. Like the Halo 2 one, the Halo 2 one was really big.
Oh yeah, I love bees. I was gonna bring it up, but I didn't want to be the fanboy that brought up Halo all the time.
Yeah.
I sent both of you guys like the pictures that were uploaded by the whistleblower, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Oh my god! Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, I love that one of the monster under the rig is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, shit gets real.
Yeah, it got really like in depth, and it was just so cool.
ARGs can be so incredible sometimes, and how like, oh.
I think it's funny how this was like all of our like first exposures to any ARG at all.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just kind of it was a novel idea. It made the whole thing. I was like, I'm excited for Cloverfield. Why? Because it invites me to get wrapped up in its mysteries.
Exactly.
I'm definitely gonna go and read all about the ARG and then watch the movie again.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna do the same thing. I know that I'm probably gonna watch the movie several times in the next 2 months.
Oh, same. Me too.
Any thoughts to wrap it all up?
Not particularly. I think I've said all that I can say at the time. That I don't. I mean, it's all speculation at this point. I really can't say anything that I don't know about. I'm just excited. I'm really excited.
Same. I think we're all gonna freak the fuck out when this movie comes out and go see it immediately to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably gonna avoid all internet for like 2 days beforehand.
Just in case.
Yeah.
There's always that one asshole.
Well, I did that with Star Wars, and that worked out really well. Okay, well, hopefully we can have Lee, you can be on the podcast again some other time, and we'll definitely have a part 2 to this discussion when the movie comes out. Maybe if something develops with the viral marketing, if there is any.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd be happy to.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. It was awesome.
Anytime, guys. I'm gonna go watch The Martian now.
There you go.
So should be interesting.
All right, see ya, man.
Peace.
Peace.